Can't stop.
Won't stop.
Won't stop.
Till killer cops.
Or in cell blocks.
Can't stop.
Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's just
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration? Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Sir, do me a favor, take out your keys.
Dad, you can record me. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I won't do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we're getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 or 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
This is West Wednesday 449, fighting for Tyrone West and all victims of police brutality.
So first of all, I want to thank my sister Gohard, who's actually hosting us tonight because our brother Ben is not available, and I'm so sorry that we are late because we were having technical issues. Our guest Callie was unable to come through far as the video, and so we kind of figured it out. So he will be coming through the phone. So you won't, unfortunately, you won't be able to see our brother, but you will be able to hear from him. But before we bring him on, I just wanted to touch on the video that you guys just saw that we play daily every week at West Wednesday. And just like my sister said, this is West Wednesday. This is 449 weeks, not 449 days, but literally 449 weeks. We've been continuously fighting for accountability, not just for my big brother Tyrone West, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and murder. And the saddest part that really cooks my skin is the fact that Jorge Bernardo Ruiz is still working to this day. And it's just, it's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like literally, this is a failed system. And it's not a broken system, it's a failed system. Because to me, something broke. It pretty much indicates at one point it was working fine and things like that, and it just got broke or whatever, you know. But no, this system is doing exactly what it's designed to do and pretty much wipe us out. I call it legalized genocide. When they murder us, unfortunately, they get paid promotions, they get qualified immunity, all this foolishness. But meanwhile, we have to bury our loved ones. You know, we are stuck with this. And the fact that this animal, he's the first killer cop to come and start murdering my brother, him and Chapman, Nicholas Davis Chapman, let's be crystal clear. But for a road stop, it should not end someone's life. For any type of interaction with these killers should not enter, should not take someone's life. They're not judge, jury, and executioner. But the fact that it's still going on, it really breaks my heart. Like it's terrible. And the fact that if you look at the video, 24 hours, there was Darrell Harris. And thank God that he was smart enough and quick enough to know about the internet and like, hey, we're putting this up on the internet type of thing. He had somebody that was in his vehicle that actually had his back. 24 hours later, my brother was executed, giving a lady a ride that he barely knew. And he didn't even really know this lady, but she was stranded, and he was like, you know what, sis, may I borrow your vehicle to go get this lady, because I won't want to see you stranded, so let me do her a favor. And I'm like, long as you pick up your niece, that should not have resulted to my brother being brutally murdered. And the saddest part, you're talking about going on 9 years later. Literally, we just got an accurate count for the whole entire 8 years. We've been always saying 11 to 15. That count was, we didn't have, and it was said, that shows you how thorough that this investigation was. It was foolishness. They didn't give a damn. But for us to actually have a number of 17 killer maniacs that was beating one unarmed man. Like, you think about it, that is horrible. And the fact that our state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, sits in office, right? She's going through other challenges, whatever. I have nothing to do with that. I'm here for my brother Tyrone West, and not just him. I'm here for Anthony Anderson. I'm here for any victim of police brutality. You can't say you're going to step up, step forward, and do the right thing, but then, it just be a facade. I'm sick of it. We demand answers. And 4 years ago, and counting now, I left critical information on her desk in regards of my brother, the whole thing. And it's sad because I shouldn't have to do any of the things that I had to do. Because for one, when Greg Bernstein was in office, when those 17 killer maniacs, including David Killer Lewis from Morgan State University, at the end, after my brother was beat down, talk about kicked, pepper spray, tortured in broad daylight at 7 o'clock in the evening. You know, in the summertime, it's still light outside. But the fact that you are murdered in broad daylight, you wasn't murdered in the back of the alley somewhere. You were murdered in a residential area, in a residential community. And the fact that there were witnesses that came out there with videos and they tried to video this horrible attack. And they not tried, most of them did. Like we had 2 or 3 witnesses that saw the brutal execution of one unarmed man getting beat down. And then you had David Killer Lewis to come finish him up. He crashed his vehicle, the Morgan State University vehicle. He was so hard pressed to come kill one unarmed man. Let's be clear. He crashed that vehicle into the back of Chapman's unmarked vehicle that Chapman and Ruiz was in, that initiated this traffic stop. And at the time, they was pretty much jump out boys. You know, pretty much a part of the gun trace task force. They wasn't in a regular, typical police car that was marked and you could, know that you're being followed and harassed and stalked by law enforcement. They were in an unmarked car. And for no reason, wasn't nothing going on with my car, my brother. And their excuse was, oh, he was driving too close towards a stop sign. Are you freaking kidding me? But the fact that all the lies that happened and the fact that it wasn't even just the killer cops that, did this horrible thing. What happened after that is the biggest atrocity ever. It's really mind-blowing. And to the point that anytime I can say that the way my brother was tortured in broad daylight, that the cover-up was far worse. Like, you got to be kidding me. How can one wrap their mind around what happened to Mr. West? Like, literally, you think a man is beat to death, literally, in broad daylight. Witnesses, they got their cell phone. Like I said, 3 people that we know of videoed this, right? They had it video. But what happened? The very next day after my brother was executed, at the time, the commissioner was Commissioner Batts. He and his officers, a crew of officers, literally 12 or more officers, went to Kentmore Causeway to make sure that they covered up. They knocked on everybody's door, and anybody that had cell phone video footage, they urged them to give them to them. And as we were knocking, trying to do the right thing, not trying to get into the integrity of the investigation, we were literally handing out our lawyer phone number, because we didn't want them to say, oh, well, Miss Jones messed up the investigation. She was talking to people. She did this. They're lying for her. No, I'm like, if you guys have any, because what made me do this, let's be clear. Nobody never called my family and told us that my brother was murdered. Had it not been for the grace of God, me feeling in my body that my brother was murdered, executed, that's what, led me to start calling around and panicking. And when he didn't answer the phone, I'm freaking out, literally calling everybody in my family. Right? And finally, literally, it came to a conclusion on the 10 o'clock news that my worst nightmare became my reality, became my new life, became my new world, that my brother was executed. And I saw sobbing witnesses on the news saying, oh my God, they beat him from one side of the street to the next one. Some that wouldn't even show their face. All I saw was a young lady pink tennis shoes. She didn't even want to be showing the camera because she know the retaliation of killer cops is real. But she was bold enough, brave enough to speak on camera to say he didn't deserve what he got. We saw several witnesses. So when we saw that, my family, the West family, we took action immediately. We took action and we went to Kentmore Causeway. We went and got us an attorney first. After we left our attorney's office with their cards in hands, flyers in hands, we were very organized. A lot of people always say, well, first of all, people need to get on. We were organized. This is our loved one. Okay, we had flyers. Tyrone West was murdered here. You guys got any information? Please call the White Pettit's office. Left their email information, phone numbers, everything. But as we went and knocked on the doors of Kentmore Causeway, we were baffled to learn that Oh my goodness, we turned out cell phone video footage over to the law enforcement. We're like, wow, okay, well, I'm still thinking, there's hope. I'm thinking that they were going to just do their damn job. I don't know why I was that foolish. Like I said, it's a dirty system. I can go on all night. But the fact that my brother was murdered, the fact that at the time, Greg Bernstein, who was the state's prosecutor, elected not to do nothing. He did the same exact thing to Anthony Anderson family. Anthony Anderson's son face and family members face and said he wasn't doing anything. He did the same disrespectful stuff. And that, my dear, that, my loves, is how Wes Ramsey was born. I told him, you better not dare get comfortable in that seat, because I promise you that you will not be in that seat. It is election time coming up, and guess what? You will not be our state's attorney. But I'm thinking, okay, we move forward, move in the right direction. They're not doing their job, get them out of there. But unfortunately, it seems like as these people take seats, they don't hold their promises. They don't even do their job. I'm not asking you to break the law. I'm not asking you to do anything but do your job. Nobody wants to do their job when they get in office. And it's just sad and disgusting. But the fact that we know that murder, if somebody kills somebody and that case go cold, and it could be 40, 50 years later, somebody come up with some evidence, hey, that case is reopened. You get what I'm saying? But in my brother's case, when I spoke to Marilyn Mosby at first, she was like, oh, I would love to do something, but unfortunately it didn't happen on my tenure. But if you give me new information, I'll be more than gladly to, see what I could do, reopen, whatever. I just want to look at the facts, bring me some. And I went all the way to house and back. Not only did I get my brother's body exhumed, which I shouldn't have never had to do, but like I said, this is a dirty system. There was a medical examiner's office, David Fowler, okay, who's under the gun. To my book, he should be in a jail cell with all those corrupt people. David Fowler should have been in it. I've been calling the medical examiner's office out from day one, when they took 154 days to give us a partial autopsy report, 7 flimsy papers that didn't even really have any pootage, pictures or anything. All it said was, oh, Mr. West, he wasn't beat to death. Mr. West died from dehydration and a bad heart. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, my brother just had an actual health, he just had a doctor's visit 2 weeks prior to him getting murdered, because he had got a promotion in his job and they had to give him a physical. So he had his healthy physical and he was fine, and the healthiest man in my whole entire family. And you're going to tell me that he died from a bad heart and dehydration? Like, when did he ever have any heart issue? Never, ever, ever. When was he unhealthy? Never, ever, ever. But at the end of the day, the most healthiest man or unhealthy person, no one could have ever survived 17 animals kicking and stomping and beating, pepper spraying, tasing and macing. Nobody could have survived that. But the fact that he was murdered in such a way, and the fact that all the new evidence that I gave her, because come to find out, they lied. And this is what they do. And I want you to listen, because I'm about to bring my guests on. And I'm sorry I'm taking up time, but you guys need to know the facts. The fact that everybody's in this Pandora box, they're covering up. You get what I'm saying? It was the medical examiner's office. It was the doctors at Good Sam lying too. They're going to lie and say, oh, Mr. West died at around 8-something, 8:10 at Good Sam. That was a damn lie. We know it was a lie. Mr. West was dead on Kentmore and Causeway. DOA, on arrival. You better believe me, baby, he was dead. But the reason why they didn't put him in that black sheet is because they did not want what would have been associated with them witnesses that saw them beating, and witnesses that were pleading. And you heard Dwight Pettit on the video say they were calling him the N-word. Like, literally. And then the fact that it wasn't just some Caucasian cops on my brother. We had black cops. We had races of different cops, right? On top of one unarmed man. We even had 2 women, yes, 2 women, 2 stinking animals, okay, to actually jump into a beating. a one-unarmed man. And then after all that was said and done, you had David Lewis, who, as my brother was dying, face down, in a hog-tied position, face down on the ground, pleading, and witnesses said, gasping for air. You had a 340-pound man sat on my dying brother's neck while my brother was breathing. And everybody, we should have, when we saw George Floyd take his last breath, and that just damn near killed everybody. And like my sister Dion said, all the mothers, the sisters in the movement heard, him scream for his dead mama. All the witnesses on Kentmore and Kelway heard Mr. West screaming, Trayvon Martin, help me. Somebody called 911. They heard his pleas and his cries. And I want you guys to hear it from me, because I am Tyrone West. I am my brother's keeper. I'm not going away. And I urge you guys, this is the time we demand answers from Marilyn Mosby. We have an action coming up on our 450th West Wednesday. I will be getting to you guys soon and everything, broadcasting everything, because at the end of the day, you're not going to just walk away and just ignore my family, because remember, justice delayed is justice denied. All she has to do is put it in black and white. I'm not going to do anything. She's holding up the process. She's holding up the process. And I want y'all to let that sink in. Just imagine if your loved one was killed and you had somebody that could actually throw these killer cops in a cell block, that's electing to turn her back, just like Greg Bernstein. My brother Blood was on his hands. My brother Blood is now on Marilyn Mosby's hand, who again is turning her back. And then she wonder why she's having the luck she's having now. One thing I know for certain and for sure, God does not like ugly. And I don't wish bad luck with anybody, especially a mother that has children, even if she wasn't a mother, a wife. I don't wish bad luck with anybody, but I do, believe in karma. When you doing stuff wrong and you know the right things to do, and like we know when we're doing something wrong and we know when we're doing something right. Just morally, when you're doing the wrong thing. And for all this wrong to be going on all these years, it just makes me really, really believe that maybe we will never get accountability for my big brother. And I'm sick of, even though we see like other family members get accountability, and that's fine, and I'm so happy for them. But what about our families? What about all the families that have never got an opportunity to be in a courtroom, just to go through the whole system, and see what happens, to get the witnesses, to be transparent and give them all the facts and let them decide, about these killers. We're not even getting that. And it's so sad and very disgusting. And I just want to lay y'all that on your heart and minds. So next West Wednesday, we're going to be outside for the 450th West Wednesday. We will be outdoors with an action. And it's just so sad that why all this time we still do not have any accountability whatsoever. Nothing. And it's just sad that we're opening up the world again. They're lifting all the mandates of wearing face masks in the school system, just everywhere. But the main place that needs to be open, that we need to look Brandon Scott in his face and say, what are you doing? Which side are you on? We can't even do that. Everything now got to be virtual. The game where so they can block you off the internet, throw you. It's sad and disgusting. And as I think, and this is the last thing, I'm going to wrap up real quick before I bring my brother on, that has been to West Wednesday numerous times, that, he wears so many crowns, and I just adore him. But the fact that an 18-year-old baby, I cannot wrap my brains around it, and I'm heartbroken. I'm really literally disgusted. Darnell Rochester, an 18-year-old baby. And the saddest part, the news been covering up from day one, because they said at first that the baby was 19, which still was young. But I was wondering why, when you look at when they first reported, and I shared that video when it broke live, I said, Northeast Killers has killed again. I told you guys, I said the killers, and that's the same district that killed my brother, the same district where 16 of those stinking maniacs
working. Okay, let's be crystal clear. So they know that they ain't got no type of accountability because 16 of them was able to beat, stomp, kick, pepper spray, mace, do anything that they wanted to do to one unarmed man. That was Tyrone West. In 2013, it should not be going on 9 years. Like, are you kidding me? That is so heartbreaking. And when I first came into this and I would see mothers and sisters fight for 10 years, I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to be like them. And unfortunately, it's getting just like that. I'm just like them. Not saying that I don't want better, but I was just praying that, oh my God, that they was going to do the right thing. But they don't want to do the right things. But what is devastating to me is a baby, an 18-year-old baby, y'all. Darnell wasn't doing anything wrong. A traffic stop, again, I'm going to tell y'all, and it's heartbreaking to me. A traffic stop should not stop someone's life. But I told you guys, watch that video. If you see the commissioner, he was looking all goofy. Yeah, I said this is not the West Coalition. This is Tawanda Jones talking to you. These are my views, my points. So don't hold the West Coalition accountable for what I'm saying. This is coming from me, my heart, okay? Not something that I discussed with the West Wednesday. This is something that I'm discussing with y'all because I'm disgusted. The way, like I said, the commissioner was standing there looking all goofy, and so was the mayor, Brandon Scott. Both of them, he couldn't even look. They just looked at like, oh my God. They looked. We knew from that look. We knew from that look. Something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. And if they saw that video before they showed us and before they tried to edit it and cut it and all that stuff, you could clearly see the officer jumping in front of that damn vehicle. Jumping in front of that vehicle and killing that baby. An innocent baby that didn't have no record or anything. And then they try to use all, and that's what I keep telling y'all. What they do is they use our pain for their game. Oh, this is where the carjacking and all this stuff. But y'all ain't solving nothing. People still getting carjacked. People still getting killed. Y'all ain't solving nothing. Y'all killing innocent people. And y'all probably the ones doing the goddamn carjacking, if I gotta tell you. But it's sad and disgusting that anybody, especially the commissioner being as old as he is, and maybe I don't know if he got any children or not, but the fact that you, and shame on Brandon Scott, because Brandon, just like I told you when I met you, when we G-checked you, we G-checked Brandon Scott. Yes, we did. We caught him going in City Hall when he made some remark that didn't set well about my brother. He said something, but long story, I can't remember what it was. We told him, Brandon Scott, you look just like us. The same thing can happen to you, young man. You look just like Tyrone West. The same exact thing can happen to you. And the fact that you are a young man, the fact that you know how we are getting killed out here and y'all doing nothing but turning a blind eye, y'all sleeping good at night. And that's disgusting to me. How can y'all sleep good at night? And especially when a baby, an 18-year-old baby in the car, in his car with temp tags, when they expect us to believe this foolishness, oh, they read the plates and he had a one. First of all, they was temporary tags. You can't even really see anything. And even if you did, let's say for instance you did, let's say for instance if he had a one, but mind you, people I know done been running, his name through the system. And if you run Darnell Rochester through the system, you will not find any open warrants. You will not find anything. So I'm thinking they're going to try to lie and make up some stuff in the judicial system because we didn't see anything. Now, but that's sad that a baby life is gone. Another mother has to bury her baby. That is so sad and so disgusting. So I'm praying so hard for Darnell's family because he did not deserve to be executed, like gunned down. And then the fact that after you kill him, and I promise I'm done, but after you murder him, you throw him face down with bullets in his body, he's dying, and you throw him face down and you handcuff him, and then y'all want to pretend, and then the damn commissioner want to come out there talking about, oh, my officers try. F your officers. Tawanda said it, not West Coalition. This is all me. F your officers, F you, and F Brandon Scott. Y'all need to do your damn jobs. And I'm unapologetic because enough is enough. Enough is enough. What if that was your baby? What if Darnell was your son? Okay? What if Tyrone West was your nephew? What if Anthony, the list goes on, what if these victims, right, that we bring to y'all every week, and then every week we ride around we do all the homicides in our city, and we do the long list of police brutality that's happening state by state. What if your loved ones, and then the list grows longer each week. Last week y'all saw how long it was. Tonight we got like 27 victim names. Like, so they comfortable with killing us. Legalized genocide. So I'm gonna stop you on that note, but we gotta do something, y'all, because this ain't working. What we doing? I'm tired of swinging at the air. I'm tired. Y'all know that we put groundwork on, boots on the ground. We was outside in the streets before this pandemic foolishness, before all this camera. I prefer to be outside in them damn streets. I'm gonna be honest. But because of COVID, and I didn't want nobody bringing COVID into their family, you know, and because COVID is real, it's killing people, you know. So I just thought about everybody. I thought about my family, myself, all that. And then the fact that a lot of people are just dying from anything that y'all letting us die from. Nowadays, you can't even get sick and go in the hospital. And the last thing, and I promise I'm going to bring Callie on. But one more thing that I want to say is, it's just sad to get a call that nobody wants. I was watching one of my dear sweet co-teachers, and I'm going to keep her in prayer. But literally, we at work. We all talking, laughing, joking. You know, life is good. And she got a call today. Oh my God, when I say I knew something was wrong from the way the sister's face looked. And she's like, "How? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh my God," I had to walk away because first of all, I'm not going to, you know, that was her conversation, I'm minding my business. But I saw her face and I could hear the hurt in her voice. But long story short, she got a call that made her literally hit her knees. Her father had passed away, or something happened bad to her father. Her father's no longer here with us. But to get that kind of call that we so often now are getting every day is very disgusting to me. It's sad. So we got to do something more. Like, it's Ash Wednesday, I'm just, happy to be here, and just, but I'm sick of just praying, because prayer without work is nothing. I could pray all night. Oh my God, please pay my bills, dear Father. Guess what? I don't get out here and go teach my classroom. Guess what? My lights gonna be off. Guess what? They might snatch my house. Okay? Let's be clear. Plans without actions is nothing. Praying without actions is nothing. So we gotta do a little bit more than just praying. We gotta do a little bit more of just praying and talk. We gotta do something. I'm ready to smash and trash this system because it's not working. I'm tired of everybody. Well, let's fight for that. That's true. Like, I've been fighting, but where's it getting us? They watering down bills. Everything that we do, nobody cares. Nobody has the balls or the hearts to stand up and say, you know what? The time is now. We're gonna do this. Nobody has that no more. It's sad and disgusting. But no further ado, I know that was a lot. I know I was rambling, and I apologize to y'all for being all over the place. But I'm not sorry or sad for anything that I said and who I said it about. And anybody have a problem with what I said, y'all know how to reach me. But anyway, coming out now, unfortunately, we won't be able to see my brother's face, but my brother Kyle, he's been at West Wednesday numerous times. He does amazing artwork. Like, he does so much. So no further ado, I'm gonna bring our brother Callie out. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? Tawanda, let me just start off by saying you inspire me every day to do better and be better. I've been rocking with you and your family for many years now. I still remember the first time I joined your protest over at police headquarters down on Baltimore and Gay Street. And, you just had so much, you and your family, y'all just had so much energy. And, it was then that I fell in love with the cause. Just listen to you speak. You touched on a lot of different points that really spoke to me. Me personally, I have a big problem with politicians. Just my opinion, they're a bunch of liars. They say they say whatever they can to get themselves into the office. And once they're there, you know, they follow their own agendas. And, you know, unfortunately, Marilyn Mosby and Brandon Scott, they're no different. You know, I think it's more disheartening because, you know, they're the same color as me, you know, and, but, you know, they're just another letdown, just like all the rest of them. And, you know, but and I'm also a believer in karma. Yeah. So, you know, God be with me, Miss Mosby, you know, but hey, if shoe fits, you know, gotta wear it. But at any rate, my own experiences with police and their misconduct dates back to, let me see, I would say 2011. And at the time, I was unemployed, driving around in a beat-up Honda, and I happened to cross Garrison Boulevard in my car, and I was lit up by two officers driving an unmarked car, and they stopped me. You know, asked me for my license. I provided my license, and the officer looked at it and he said, "This isn't a real license." You know, he shook it real casually, and he demanded that I get out the car. And so me, I don't resist. I don't believe in resisting. I complied. I complied with him. The officer proceeded to search me. He did find a weapon because I was armed. I was armed for protection because at the time I was a tattoo artist and I needed protection to protect my livelihood, my business. However, the officer proceeded to restrain me and against my car. I did not resist. They put me in handcuffs, put me in the back of their car, their unmarked car, and then they went for a pizza. A doggone pizza.
Oh, goodness.
And you know, as I sat there on, what was it, Ricestown Road, right in front of the Little Caesars, while the officers were inside, you know, and I was just in shock, total disbelief. Like, they really did this to me. You know, at any rate, they took, after they got their food and ate, they took me down to the Northwestern District and put me in holding. And from there, they took me over to Central Booking. And from Central Booking, they proceeded to steal all of the items that, all of my personal items. They actually stole them from me because I never got them back. And to this day, that left a very bad taste in my mouth for from the Baltimore Police Department. You know, they're supposed to, they're meant to protect and serve, but as far as I'm concerned, they're all human, and some of them are just the most corrupt people you'll ever meet. And so, but yeah, I think that at the end of the day, you know, there's a whole lot wrong with this city. There's a whole lot wrong with this, with our police. You know, they're designed to protect us, but They're out here killing us. They're out here slaughtering us. And the city is only getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, I have no idea what to do. I look. I have the Citizen app on my phone, and I see just how much violence is just going on in this city, and it's just it blows my mind. I'm at a complete loss for words. But I'm going to end it right there on that note. Mic check.
Mic check. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you, and I also wanted to apologize because I'm sorry that you went through that. Like, that's horrible. Like, it's just sad, like, for anyone to go through that. And I just thank God that you survived because, I think about the fact that when we have encounters about, with police, and I kept hearing you say several times that you didn't resist. Lots of time, my brother, it's a lot of brothers that don't resist. My brother Tyrone West didn't resist. You get what I'm saying? But the fact that when they're killing you, they will lie and say, oh, they resisted arrest. And then even if they want to put a bunch of bogus charges on you, that'll be one of the first charges. He resisted or she resisted arrest. They did this, they did that. And it's a whole list of things, So I just thank God that you survived, that you actually survived that, So I'm just thankful that you are here, that you made it through, and and for all the wonderful stuff that you are doing and have done for us in the community. I just want to thank you. And I also want to check in real quick with anybody on our West Coalition panel right now, if they have any questions or comments before I actually go to our brother Marcellus to see if there's any comments or questions on the board. Mic check. All right, so I guess I will turn it over to my brother Marcellus to see if we have any questions or comments. First of all, I want to say good evening to you, my brother, and thank you again for joining us, being in place. Mic check.
Mic check. Gretchen says mic check. Nelson says mic check. Angela says speak about it, sis. You're on fire, sis. Fuck your officers. Fuck Marilyn Mosby. Fuck Brandon Scott. And fuck Michael Harrison. And Smiley says the time is now to strongly fight for accountability.
Thank you, guys.
Could everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah,
okay,
thank
good.
You so much.
Mic check.
Mic check. Yes, thank you for that, my brother. And also I apologize if I offended anybody, but I'm just being real because this is painful when you see somebody loved one get murdered and then they come back with these lies. And we have all the compassion, empathy in the world when we hear something, but then when it's somebody else loved one, they want to start lying and making up stuff instead of them just saying, you know what, we're going to find answers. We're so sorry for what happened, and really mean it. Don't say you're sorry if you're not. Don't say you're sorry if you're not going to really do a thorough investigation and hold folks accountable. They should not be able to just drive around and just because they may be having a hard day or they just want to go on a picnic like back in the day. And I don't even want to say the word, the N word, pick an N word, that we're going to just kill, They kill people for a sport, and it's sad. And I really, really, honestly, I feel sorry for the one or two good cops that just take their job serious, that goes in there and say, hey, I'm going to work. I want to make a difference. I feel so sorry for them. I really do. I really do. And that's coming from my heart. That ain't coming from the West Coalition. That's coming from me. Because you do have people that are on the force that, are good, that want to make a change. But if you stand there and you're with a bad officer and you're not doing anything to stop their actions, guess what? That makes you a bad officer too. It makes you a bad officer too. That means their blood, just like I'm so glad we just got the news that those other killer cops that watched George Floyd and that took part in him getting murdered charged too. That's what need to happen to all those killer cops. Everybody, you want to participate in the same way as if me and my girls, we roll up on somebody and somebody start, fighting and I jump in or I stay in there and I watch. Guess what? We all are accessories to murder. Why is it when these killer cops kill and stand right there and watch this foolishness and condone it? Why they not charged? If they start doing that, we will definitely quickly see a shift in the way that they treat us. But meanwhile, they want to play this game. Oh, put it in black and white. Oh, let's do this. Let's form these committees. If you think about it, every time when people get ready to get into an uproar or something's bad happening, instead of them making it right, to me, they start pulling the daggone rabbit out the hat. This illusion, let's pretend we're gonna do something. Let's put all these so-called things and write it, and let's put it in this magic hat and say, hey, we're gonna pull out the bunny rabbit. I'm sick of the Doug Police show. I'm a grown woman. I ain't got time for it. So I want to check back in with my brother Kylie to ask if there's any more that you want to add or say, and then also let us know how we can reach you. Mic check.
At my phone number, I guess I'm kind of not misunderstanding the question.
Yeah, so could you, because you came in at the end, I was saying, do you have any more questions or comments that you want to add to the conversation that also let everybody know how we can reach you? And I wouldn't give out like my phone number on here because I don't trust you.
Okay, thanks, Tawanda. I can be reached through Facebook. My Facebook name is Chico Moulton. You just come on, add me, and do an ad request, and I will accept. I'm not affiliated with any particular organizations at the moment. I'm just a regular, normal 9-to-5 Joe. But I do know Tawanda, and I am inspired by her cause. But I want to say this, I do believe in law and order, but I know that justice is it's not we don't have a perfect system, and we live in an imperfect world, and we have good and bad in everything. All I can say is that we just gotta do our best as a collective to right the wrongs and correct do away with the corruption that's in this city, that's plaguing this city, because in the end, it can ruin us. There's so much going on in the world right now. There's a war going on right now. And it saddens me, and I get concerned about where are we going as a people? It's time for us as a people to wake up and look at ask ourselves, what direction are we going in? But that's all. That's all I want to say. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. That was good, and I definitely appreciate that. And real quick, on a bright note, I want to give my cousin Jamie Richardson a big shout out, birthday, well wishes, and I can't wait to turn up. And also, I want to give my sister Tanya Hemsley a big shout out, birthday love as well. We have so many birthdays that are in this month that's coming up, so I just want you guys to really enjoy yourself. And I also want to send love out to my sister Angela, who to this day, y'all, still waiting for an autopsy report. Like, how disgusting is it? Like, literally, and that's why I say all this stuff to me is a big joke. If you think about it, the beautiful examiner's office, as we are speaking, supposed to be under scrutiny, you would think that they would get it right. Why is it that Timothy Fleming's family is still waiting on an autopsy report? Why was it that they were told it's going to take like 2 years for them to do an investigation? That's a bunch of BS. It don't take 2 years to do anything. Because God forbid if Timothy Fleming was still living and Timothy Fleming would have done what was done to him in his home to those killer cops that walked through his door, it wouldn't have took them 2 years to do anything. They would have threw the book, the gravel, and everything else at him. Let's be crystal clear. So why is it these killer cops are still working? This man, Timothy, was gunned down in his own house. How heartless is that? And then the crap with the body cam footage in the same way they did, the family that I'm talking about, Darnell family, with such disrespect, show a body cam footage, and then they come up and you had a man and commissioner condoning that foolishness, saying, oh, what a police act within reach, like the same disrespectful stuff that happened to my family. And that's why when people be like, oh, do you want to be in a mad deal? I don't ever want to go into politics. I don't ever want to. No, thank you. Because I feel like everybody had a good heart, and the fact that when, I met and sat down several times with Brandon Scott when he was on the council board, he, got to me, he was working hard, and I felt like he was doing things in the right direction, and I was like excited, and I actually voted for him to become the mayor. And I got so excited and happy when he became the mayor, because I'm like, now we got a young man in office, a black, young, intelligent, smart man. It's nothing like a black, intelligent man. Let's put the clip. But then we got a black, young, intelligent, smart man in office. Maybe we're gonna make change. You can't sit by and just let them do that. Then that makes you no different than them. You gotta step up, sir. Do what you promised us you was gonna do. Do what you do. Do what you not do what you're doing, because right now it's failing. You're not doing us any good right now. You got to do what you promised us to do. And that's do your job. Like make real change. Like we got a crime bill that we supposed to see happen 6 years from now. We trying to live 6 days from now, 6 hours from now, 6 minutes from now. 6 years from now ain't going to do us no good. We need actions now to hold folks accountable. And I'm talking about lottie-dottie and everybody. All they trying to do now with the governor is they want to overcharge people. They call us thugs, and they want to do this and they want to do that, all this foolishness, right? But be crystal clear, the killer cops, they get smacks on the wrist. They made a big example out of, and it's sad because they made a big example out of elderly woman, Catherine Pugh. You see, they broke the chain whip and everything for her. This elderly woman, but everybody else getting a smack on the butt. It's disgusting. This whole damn system. I'm sick of it. So I'm gonna go and check in with our brother Marcellus to see if we have any comments or questions. And before I go to brother Marcellus, I want to check in with anybody, Uncle Bill, anybody. Do you guys want to ask our brother Kylie or say anything before we go on to check in with the thoughts? Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
So on Facebook, Michael said, Biden upset me for demeaning defund the police movement last night. And Hillary says, yes, Tawanda, we tell children that if they silently support bullying, that is wrong. Police who stand by and watch others brutalized are responsible too. Mic check.
Mic check. Marcellus, could you repeat what you said? Somebody named Michael said. I couldn't hear you. You were kind of fading out. What did our brother Michael say? What did Michael say?
Michael said Biden upset me for demeaning defund the police movement last night. Biden, during the State of the Union, said he doesn't believe in defunding the police. He wants to fund the police, which means increase their funding. This year or last year in 2021, the police killed over 1,000 people, according to Washington Post. That's how many they tracked. I'm sure there's more, which is the most they've ever tracked in a single year. So Biden's first year of office, the numbers went up, and he wants to give them more money to do it.
Yeah, they love that. They love it. What I call cops, this is different from a police officer that you know, wears their badge. It's not a costume. They take their job with integrity, but it's a difference from cops. Cops to me are criminals on payroll serving, and they're not serving us. They're serving themselves. That's what they're doing. It's just sad and it's disgusting. But Kylie, I want to check back in with you, my brother, before we go to unfortunately reading two sad lists that I wouldn't wish anybody on. You want to say or add anything? Mic check.
Mic check.
So I guess Kylie don't want to add anything. So again, my brother, I thank you. I'm so sorry that we had technical issues with your device and getting on. Hopefully the next time you get on, we'll be able to see you. But you were very powerful tonight, and I just want to thank you. If you want to tune in, hold on. I respect your time, but if not, you can hop up. We're about to read two sad lists, and then after that, we'll be wrapping up West Wednesday. And I hope to see you. And I'm going to send you a flyer, my brother, after this. I hope that I see you next week out in the streets for West Wednesday, for our 450th West Wednesday. So
yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Tawanda, you will see me there with bells on.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm excited. And I'll tell you, we got some real nice stuff lined up for that day. So definitely want you to be a part of it. I'll talk to you offline about that. But anyway, before we go to the sad list tonight, I just want you guys. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my screen just went totally black, so I don't know what happened. But y'all can hear me, right?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Can y'all see me?
You're frozen.
Yes, my whole screen black, and that's how they did. I guess I made that remark about the commissioner and the mayor. But anyway, moving right on. You might can freeze me on this screen, but you can't freeze anything that I'm doing. You can't stop it. You cannot stop it. But anyway, as we read the sad list, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna try to hop off and hop back on to see, if I could become unfrozen. But nevertheless, as we read this sad, horrible list, I just want to take 2 minutes for all the victims on both lists. And also I want you guys to keep in mind that these are not isolated incidents.
Brian, are you ready to read the list of victims of community violence? Maybe we should go ahead until Tawana is able to get her input working.
So I'm going to, Tawana seems to have dropped off, and I am going to, oh, is she back?
Okay, yay. Sorry about that. So can we, God is good, because I wanted to take 2 minutes to, if you pray, say a prayer. If you don't pray, please just keep these families in thoughts. And most of all, let's try to figure out ways that we can stop this, because guess what? You don't want your family to be on a list that you never asked to be on. You don't want to be invited in a club that nobody wants to be on. And it's sad. And guess what? Both of these lists is intertwined together. They try to make it seem like police brutalities over here, community violence. Guess what, baby? They lied. Somebody lied. It's time to call a liar a liar. Somebody lied big time. Because guess what? Legalized genocide. And it's horrible, it's sad, it's disgusting. So again, for 2 minutes, let's just, before our brother Brian reads the unfortunately sad list of the homicides in our city, I would just pray and hope that one week we could come to you guys and we could honestly, like clearly with a open heart and an open mind, say, oh my God, nobody got killed this week on none of the lists. That would be a beautiful day. But unfortunately, that's not the world we're living in. It's just so sad and it's very heartbreaking. So just keep in mind, we don't even know how far our names are to even be added on that list. We don't know if our family members' names are going to be added on either or list. But guess what? To me, it's called the highway of hell. You know, it doesn't matter what road you take to get on the highway, what street, you end up there. And unfortunately, you don't want to be on the highway of hell, but it intertwines the police brutality, community violence, it intertwines to a system that failed us, a system where nobody's coming to save us, a system where we have to save ourselves. And that's the truth, the whole truth. And as we going through all the stuff that we're seeing in the war, I'm praying for the people that are even going through what they're going through. Like, really? At a time like this, at a time of COVID, people are actually getting killed. Innocent people for nothing. Innocent people running for trains that they're picking and choosing who they let come on the train to get free from getting tortured and slaughtered. Guess what? Just like we didn't think COVID, we heard about COVID, right? Everybody thought, oh, that was in China. That's not going to happen here. As soon as it hit here, we can almost tell you that everybody on here had somebody that we knew and loved that was affected by COVID, that was affected by COVID directly. And unfortunately, some of those family members, friends did not make it. And we're still in COVID. I wish I could say, oh, COVID is gone. It's not. We still don't know when it's going to end. But I do know this. We got to do better. We got to figure out something. So let's take 2 minutes and just realize these are people names. You may not know their name. You may know their name, but just know that they are a human being. Just know that they never knew that they were going to be a part of a list. They wanted to be with their families, right? And now they're part of something that they didn't even ask for. So please, let's just take 2 minutes for Go for the List. Mic check. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys, and just I'm praying for these families. I'm so sorry. That's all I can say. The floor is all yours. And I know Brian, you had asked to say something before you read the list. So now is your moment to say whatever it is you want to say before we pay homage and show, you know, our love for these families, man. Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you, Tawanda, and thank you for keeping us together and keeping this going for all these 449 weeks. I just I don't know if people can see. I've got a mark on my forehead. Today is Ash Wednesday, and for many of us, this is a day that we try to remember that we're not what we want to be, and hold ourselves accountable for that. And in 37 days, it's going to be Good Friday, which is the day that we remember that salvation, that God comes to us in the form of a dark-skinned man killed by the police under cover of law. And anyone who wants to call themselves a Christian, I realize this isn't a terribly Christian group that we have here, but anyone you meet who says they're a Christian, you can ask them, why aren't they here doing this work? This is the literal, this is the literal crucifixion right here, that we fight that every week. And right now, there's a lot of people who've discovered we're in a time of war and a time of great uncertainty, and there are a lot of people who've discovered that they're Christians again. And a lot of what you hear at this time is that you'll often hear a prayer called the St. Francis Prayer, the Peace Prayer. And I have a slightly different peace prayer that I would like you to if you would just, put up with me for a few minutes. And it goes something like this. God, make me a channel of your disruption. Where there is apathy, let me bring action. Where there is acquiescence, let me bring resistance. Where there is silence, let me bring your voice. Where there is too much comfort and too little compassion, let me bring provocation. Where doors are closed and hearts are locked, let me bring your gift of understanding. O divine Rabbi, grant that I may always strive to do justice rather than to talk about it, to understand as well as to be understood, to be with as well as for the outcast, to love the unlovely as much as the lovable. Whenever laws dictate and needs go unnoticed, whenever tradition speaks louder than pain, whenever your beloved outcasts cry out, God, make me a channel of your disruption. Amen.
Amen. That was beautiful. And again, you guys, you got a little piece of church for free. We ain't even passing on the basket. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you. And this week from between February 13th and February 19th, which is the data that I have, we lost 5 people to the empire of violence and division that surrounds us. So if you would just echo their names back, we can lift them up in hopes of a better world. Taiwan Tate, 19.
Taiwan Tate, 19.
Robert Parks, 20.
Robert Parks, 20.
Montrell Bateas, 16.
Montrell Bateas,
16.
Cynthia Grace, 55.
Cynthia Grace, 55.
Quentin Bond, 29.
Quentin Bond, 29.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before you come on, Uncle Bill, I just wanted to say that is so sad and disgusting. And especially me to have teenagers, and my baby, she's not even 16 yet, but that is just heartbreaking. And then somebody's like mother, 55, like really? I just said any of those at 19, like it's horrible. Like my heart is so crushed. So again, my heart goes out to those families. Mic check.
Mic check. So I had intended to say something a little earlier, but we had a little technical issue. I wasn't able to. So before I uphold names of those who've recently been killed by police, I want to mention a few things. First, I'd like to encourage everyone to come out next week for the Live West Wednesday. It's very important. It just so happens that I taught 3 of Tyrone West's cousins. It's a beautiful family. Even if it weren't a beautiful family, we should be fighting hard for accountability. But the fact is, it is a beautiful family, and it gives us even an extra impetus to demand and fight hard for accountability in this case. And that's what next week's activity is about. So if you can come out, that would be great. Secondly, 2 weeks from now, exactly 2 weeks from tonight, well, give or take a day, is the 200th birthday of Harriet Tubman, a local hero in the fight against racism. So I want to tell 2 quick stories about Harriet Tubman, and we're going to have a program about her as well. The first story is on one of the occasions when she went back down south, where she had lived and where she had been enslaved. Her purpose was to get her sister out of slavery on that particular trip. But her sister wasn't ready to go. And so Harriet Tubman had to hide in plain sight, living in that town at great risk for, I think, several months, quite a while. So on one occasion, she's walking down the street and she's carrying a live chicken. And she sees the man who had enslaved her coming towards her down the street. So Harriet Tubman was very quick and very clever. What she did was she pulled the rope a little tighter that was holding the chicken, which made it squawk, which gave her an excuse to lean over and adjust it and to pull her bonnet tighter around her face so her face couldn't clearly be seen, and then she walked straight on past her enslaver. One other story was, and these stories, the upcoming story is not so well known. After the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, it meant that if you were a slave and you escaped to the north, you were still not free because the law said you could be captured and sent back into slavery. You had to get all the way to Canada to be free. So there was a mass movement in the north, which isn't as well known. When somebody would be caught and about to be sent back into slavery, hundreds of people would gather, break them out of the jail, surround them, bring them to the nearest stream or river, put them on a boat and get them out of there and free them again. So Harriet Tubman would jump into these activities. She was phenomenal. There was this one case where she jumped on the back of a cop, she took his gun, and she's banging him over the head, and they succeeded. Hundreds of people with Harriet Tubman giving some leadership, and they got this guy out of their bonds and out of being re-enslaved. 2 weeks from tonight at 9 o'clock, we're going to have a special program for the 200th anniversary of Harriet Tubman and talk about what we can learn from how she led her life in order to be the best anti-racist fighters today. So I want to encourage everybody to come to that. And last thing before I list the names, excuse me, we talk often about the number of people killed by police, but a far larger number of people are brutalized by the police and live. In fact, the best numbers I've seen say that somebody's brutalized by the police about once every 6 minutes. Now, they kill about 3 people a day, or once every 8 hours, more or less. So that means every time they kill somebody, in that same span of time, they've brutalized about 80 people. So when we talk about the names of people killed, let's not forget the much, much larger number of people who are violently mistreated by police. And tonight's list includes the young man from Baltimore. Very unfortunate. Excuse me. So I'll uphold the names now of those who were recently killed by police. We're going from February the 17th to February the 27th, approximately 10 days, really 11, but we already announced names on the 17th, and we probably don't have all the names yet for the 27th. So I say 10 days. And during that 10 days, the police killed 28 people. Excuse me. So first, and when I say the name, if you can uphold the name and repeat it, that would be wonderful. This person was killed in Dothan, Alabama. He was 47 years old on February the 17th. His name was Michael Freegang.
Michael Freegang.
Excuse me one sec, get this working. Also on February 17th in South Jordan, Utah, 25 years old, killed by police, Zachary Alvarenga.
Zachary Alvarenga.
Also on February the 17th in Pleasanton, California, 33 years old, killed by police, Cody Chavez.
Cody Chavez.
In Odessa, Texas, 45 years old, killed by police, John Humphreys.
John Humphreys.
The next day, February the 18th, in Chehalis, Washington, I hope I've said it right, 32 years old, not yet identified, killer cops in cell blocks, Ashe. In Walpole, New Hampshire, 57 years old, on February the 19th, killed by police, Christopher Tikal. In Douglas, Arizona, on the same day, February the 19th, not yet identified, Ashe. And when I say Ashe, let's keep in mind killer cops and cell blocks, because Ashe in Yoruba means let it be so. And the thing that we want to be so is accountability and killer cops and cell blocks. So next, we come on February the 19th to a very sad case, and that's our very own Donnell Rochester, 18 years old, killed by police. Once again, Donnell Rochester.
Donnell
Rochester.
Same day in Portland, Oregon, 30 years old, killed by police, Joel Aravello.
Joel
Aravello.
Again on the 19th in Winter Park, Florida, unarmed. And sometimes we can't tell about any of that here, and we can't trust it. But they just happen to mention that he's unarmed. Daniel Knight.
Daniel Knight.
Killed by police again on that day in San Diego, California, 27 years old, Mazal Corrales.
Mazal Corrales.
In Bakersfield, California, same day, 41 years old, Alejandro Rosales.
Alejandro Lazale.
Thank you. In Margate, Florida, 38 years old, killed by police, Louison Perot.
Louison Perot.
On the 21st of this month in Rogers, Arkansas, 54 years old, David Lyles.
David Lyles.
On the 21st in Bourne, Texas, 41 years old, killed by police, Brandon Cruz.
Brandon Cruz.
In Stockton, California, 54 years old, killed by police, Tracy Gaeta.
Tracy Gayton.
And Tracy was a woman. They kill women too. In Pueblo West, Colorado, 32 years old, on February the 22nd, killed by police, Richard Ward.
Richard Ward.
The same day in Perry, Georgia, 32 years old, killed by police, Matthew Deese.
Matthew Deese.
In Hobbs, New Mexico, on February 23rd, 27 years old, Daniel Ramirez.
Daniel Ramirez.
Macon, Georgia, February the 23rd, 63 years old, killed by police, Stephen Finfrock.
Stephen Finfrock.
In Reno, Nevada, on February 23rd, someone was killed whose name has not yet been released, Ashe.
Killer cops in cell blocks.
Thank you. In Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, 27 years old, killed by police on the 23rd, Killeen Cannell.
Killeen Cannell.
In Crowley, Louisiana, also on the 23rd, 55 years old, killed by police, Joey Guthrow.
Joey Guthrow.
On the 24th, in Edgewood, New Mexico, 34 years old, Andrew Castellano.
Andrew
Castellano.
In Belen, New Mexico, killed by police on the 25th. This person has not yet been identified, Ashe.
Killer cops in cell blocks.
In Detroit, Michigan, on the 25th, this person has not yet been identified. It was male, Ashe.
Killer cops
in cell blocks, Ashe.
In Beasley, Texas, on the 26th, this person has not yet been identified, at least not on this site. I should mention that this site did not yet identify Donnell Rochester, and of course we know who he is, killed in Baltimore. So probably a number of these people, it is known, but they have not gone to the extent of uploading that information and have not honored them properly. Anyway, in Beasley, Texas, on the 26th, unidentified person, Ashe.
Killer cops in cell blocks.
On the 27th, in Shelley, Idaho, 34 years old, killed by police, John Morieda. I'll say it once more, John Morieda.
John
Morieda.
And he is the last person we're honoring tonight whose life was stolen by the police during this 10-day stretch of time. Mike check.
Mike check.
Mike check.
Mic check. So again, I want to thank everybody that tuned in. Thank everybody that comment. You know, I love you guys so much. And, you know, as we added up all the stolen lives this week, there were 33 stolen lives. There were 5 right here that we know of, that's updated as we know of, in Baltimore City. And there were 28. You know, it's just really sad. 33, that's way too many. That's way too many. And it's just sad, and something needs to stop. But I like the fact that Uncle Bill pointed out that as we think about the murders that happen of the victims of police brutality, that there are people that survive through it. You know, and it's way more victims. Like, nobody should be a victim. Like, it's just sad and disgusting. But again, remember, always live to love, love to live. And I want to give a big shout out to our brother Cowley. I'm glad we figured it out and we had him, you know, on tonight through the audio system. Sorry we couldn't see him, but we definitely heard him, and we heard him loud and clear. So big shout out to him. Shout out to the West Coalition. A shout out to my friend Gohard for doing this and just holding it down. And just thank you guys. Remember, again, live to love, love to live. The way we guys brought you in with the horrible video of some of the victims that survived Ruiz, you know, attacks. This is just sad and heartbreaking to the point that sometimes you scramble, you even mix the time and dates up, and at the end of the video, you'll hear me say about my sister Adina, who gave testimony, but you know, hers unfortunately happened after you know, 2015 or whatever, but it happened after 2013. I said that it happened, you know, around the time, you know, my brother got killed. But the fact that we had victims that I knew of, Darrell Harris, you know, leading up to my brother, and Abdul Salam and his baby. We talking about literally a week or two before and 24 hours before, and then after that. And then the fact that you had an elderly man that you're gonna see, who they kept breaking in this house. He had to leave Baltimore City. He literally left Baltimore City. And keep in mind, when you heard that news clip, it said Ruiz is a part of the Gun Trace Task Force. And speaking of the Gun Trace Task Force, there are 2 of the cops that had gotten released. It's sad. Like, I see people that get, you know, drug weed charges and staying there, sitting there literally for a very long time for marijuana, you know, get 20, 30 years thrown at them just like that. And we know the horrible, horrific things that they did, that they plagued our city, and they're actually able to now serve less than 5 years, go back, be with their family, hug their loved ones. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. But I'll end on a good note. Please watch the tune and remember, live to love, love to live. And I will see you guys next Wednesday out in person for the 450 week. Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Adina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.